Up and Adam, everybody. Hank and Big Ben with you on this Tuesday morning, and the talk of the Commonwealth is the BBB Scam Tracker, the way in which the Better Business Bureau keeps us safe, and Nancy Cahalen here to help us do that. And because of Nancy, I did not know this, but today is National Puppy Day, observed each year on March 23rd, so you can kind of guess what direction she is going to take us in today, because sadly there's a lot of puppy mills and a lot of puppy scams that are out there. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning, and happy Puppy Day to you.
To you as well. I had no idea until you let me know. Unfortunately, we know, and you've talked to us about some of these before, but this is one of the most common online scams, is people scamming folks who just want a wonderful pet. And 2020, because I'm thinking because we're all in lockdown and needed some companionship, ended up being one of the worst years for these scams.
Absolutely. The pandemic was such a windfall for the scammers on so many fronts. But on this puppy scam, people were at home. They had time to, spend with a pet, to train a puppy, and so the more and more people wanted them, and all of our legitimate sources kind of ran dry. There were more people wanting puppies than there were puppies out there. So they turned to adopting shelter dogs, and there's scams there too. So these scammers are pretty clever, and there are ways that they've twisted this scam so they continue to victimize people. I was in Scam Tracker yesterday. I thought, well, I wonder what we've got. In the last 2 weeks, I pulled 3 examples, $1,000, $1,500, and $5,000. People locally that lost money to the puppy scams. So not only is it a common scam, but it's successful. It's successful for the scammers, and they're getting thousands of dollars from consumers that all they want is a puppy. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that they've been doing lately.
Yeah, I mean, this is really, it really hits you where you live, because you're right. People just want to have some companionship. And, you surprised me a little bit with some of those prices, but then we just had that weird incident with Lady Gaga and her dog walker and these French bulldogs, and I was amazed at how valuable some of these dogs are.
Yeah, they are. And with the scammers, the numbers get up there because they start adding on things. And once you think you've got a dog, and you're in the home stretch, people are a little bit looser with their wallets. It's an extra few hundred for a carrier. They need some kind of COVID quarantine. There are all these other charges. And what we know about the scammers is they keep asking for money until the well run dry. So if you keep giving it to them, they're going to keep taking it and coming up with more reasons why you need to pay more. So let's see, what are some of the things that so now they're asking consumers to pay with like Venmo or Zelle or some other cash app because that's just like cash. You can't get your money back. So we've talked about those apps in the past, and we said, they're great if you're going to pay the babysitter or you're splitting a lunch bill with some friends or something, because they're people but they're not intended for these types of purchases. There's no way you can get your money back. So if somebody starts asking you for Zelle or Venmo or some other cash app, steer clear, because it's most likely a scam. Another thing that indicates a scam is if they want you to pay with gift cards. Now, I know we had a chuckle about that last week, but in reading a little bit more about it, they set you up so it seems kind of normal to ask for the gift cards, if you could believe that.
Yeah.
So scammers can't take credit cards, but they put some kind of a phony credit card kind of form up online, and you fill in your information, and then they send you that it's denied. So now you can't pay with your credit card. That's how they say, well, okay, well, what can we do? What can we do to help solve this problem? Well, if you go to the store and you get, $5,000 worth of iTunes cards, we can do that, So it makes a little bit more sense. And a bonus for the scammers, they now have your credit card information, and they can pay for some of the marketing tools that they've been using to get their scammy puppy ads up top when you go online.
Yeah.
So it all ties in together. They're very, very clever.
They really are. Well, because when we were talking last week, I thought, well, boy, here's an obvious tip-off, especially since sometimes if a guy's pretending to be from the government, well, give me your iTunes. But that one would really be a red flag. But even some of these others seem like, geez, some of these are obvious red flags. But as we always talk about, they aren't. And it is because these scammers are so good at crafting these stories. We're talking about pets. I mean, is it all dogs? Is it all puppies? Or do they get you for the kitty cats and the canaries and all of this?
Yeah, the puppies dominate, but cats are a close second. In fact, I think a few months ago I used an example of $25,000 lost locally on a Maine Coon cat that didn't exist. So, it all depends on what people are looking for, and that's what they're using. They're using parrots and, all kinds of pets. Now they've moved away from puppies to rescue dogs. So, you think you're doing a great thing. You're going to rescue an animal that, is looking for its forever home. And a lot of those can be scammy as well. There's stories about why people can't keep the dog anymore. They pull on your heartstrings, and they have additional fees. So they're going after those fees that don't exist. So we've got some tips on how to avoid these scams.
Wow. Yeah, I will tell you. Yeah. I just wanted to say that I mean, I'm so glad that you're bringing this up, because the rescue dogs, I know many. Well, Ben, yours comes from a rescue. Yours is a rescue dog. My latest dog. I'm always a little curious about the backstory, but the backstory that we were given from the folks was that he was had a tough life down in Louisiana, and so now both of us have wonderful dogs, Ben and myself, so we weren't scammed. But boy, the rescue dogs, I mean, the story that I was told, I mean, it pulled on my heartstrings. There was no way I was leaving without my dog Cashew that day, because his backstory was like he was being used for alligator bait, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to bring this doggy home.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is amazing. I have a rescue dog as well. Mine was just roaming the streets of Brockton, with out of home. So no alligators, I think, were involved. But, nowadays with COVID, it's difficult. Because our first thing we're saying is try to see the pet in person before paying any money. And so there's maybe a video call. Everybody's got Zoom.
Yeah.
Do that. If they're far away and you're not 100% sure that this pet exists, try to see the seller and the actual pet for sale some way, because a real scammer is probably not going to comply with this request. So if they won't do it, then you might be saving yourself some heartache. When you're on their site online, do a reverse image search on the photo. This is a really good tool because you might find that pet pop up in a dozen different ads. Yeah. And so this is not on the up and up. You do some research. If you're buying a puppy and and the price is like unbelievably cheap, that's a red flag right there. So anyway, be on your toes. Don't think with your heart, think with your head. And if you have any questions or concerns, give us a call, and we'll try to help you determine whether it's on the up and up.
Absolutely. Nancy Cahalen, Better Business Bureau, thanks for joining us and keeping us safe. This one was particularly fascinating here on National Puppy Day.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.